Here at Calvary, we have a number of folks who are teachers. We have many others who have been camp counselors. And we have a whole host of folks who, if nothing else, somewhere between the age of about 15 and now, have read Chicken Soup for the Soul. So some of you are familiar with the story of the little boy who goes to kindergarten. That little boy who is so excited to go and to learn and to be present at school. He gets to his class and is excited to sit down and see the friends around him. And then the teacher says, pull out a piece of paper and draw a flower. And the little boy starts going to work, drawing the most beautiful flower that he can imagine, with the multicolored petals and the beautiful stems going in all directions. And the teacher comes over and says, stop. I haven't told you what to draw yet. I would like you to draw a red flower with a green stem. The little boy looks at her in confusion, but sets aside all of these beautifully colored crayons that he has his hands on, puts them down, grabs the red colored crayon, and starts coloring. Now he goes through kindergarten, and toward the end of the year has learned well what this teacher has taught him. So the next year, he gets to first grade. And the teacher says, I'd like you to draw a flower. The class slowly begins, and the little boy sits there. And the teacher comes over and says, what are you doing? Why are you waiting? You can draw your flower. So the class begins drawing these flowers, and then they start showing them off. And at the end, the little boy holds up his piece of paper with a red flower and a green stem. It's one of those times where we realize what happens when we limit possibilities. What happens when the world is put down upon us with parameters and expectations. Now I think about that. How many of us in our lives can relate to some instance where we had the creativity and the understanding and the willingness to branch out and create the most beautiful things, and yet are told to do it this way? Whether it's an art project in kindergarten, or what we are supposed to wear when we are 12 or 13, or which colleges we are supposed to go to when we are juniors or seniors in high school and trying to figure it out. Or in college, which major will make the most money or be the right one for us. Or when we get out into the work world, which job is most important, or which house we should buy, or what neighborhood we should live in, how much money should be in our bank account. The list goes on and on. And in each and everything, we are given these ideas of parameters around us. I think about this when we come to the people of Israel today. They have known hardship, and they have known the parameters of what it means to be slave or servant people in Egypt. Now they are led out into the wilderness. God is with them and is showing them forth incredible possibility. They didn't just walk across some little brook in Minnesota. They walked through the Reed Sea with pillars of cloud and fire guiding them. These are the people who now have been dwelling in the wilderness, knowing that God is present, providing for them quail and manna. And yet still, when it comes to this time of feeling frustrated, when the weight of the world being upon them, they begin to huddle down. They quarrel with each other about what is possible, about what maybe they should or shouldn't do. And, well, after all, wouldn't it just be easier to go back to Egypt? There we know the lines that we can color in. There we know how we have to treat each other and have to treat the Pharaoh. There, our relationships are in one box. Our God is in one box. And out here in the wilderness, it's rough. And what happens then when Moses takes the staff and strikes the rock and water comes gushing out? Not just trickling out, but gushing. That in the midst of this time where everything seems hopeless and frustrating, where the parameters are all around them, God continues to do a new thing and says, people of God, don't you get it? All of this is possible, not just for you as one person, but as a whole community. Are you willing to look at all that is possible for you? What an incredible and life-giving witness. But how hard, so oftentimes, for us to wrap our minds around, for us to trust, for us to imagine. Think about our world today. Gun violence, the environment, war. How easy is it for us just to throw up our hands and say, oh well, that's the way it